All right. Hello, everyone, and thank you for taking this time today to meet with us here at Reality Works. So thanks for taking the time. We are an experiential learning company that really focuses on innovative learning tools for skills training. And we're going to be talking today and doing kind of a demonstration on our electrical wiring and measurement math kit. And so to kind of begin with, just want to say thank you for taking this time with us today. We appreciate you being here. We look forward to kind of showing some of these products that can then be used in the classroom and hopefully help you and your students engage more as they learn these different topics and skill set. So just to before and as we get started here, I want to talk a little bit about some of the things that we're going to focus on. We're going to focus on some of the methodology, some components, and then dig into the electrical wiring and also the measurement math kit. But as we get going here, just a few reminders as we get started. If you have questions as we get going and you want to ask some questions, there is a place on your screen in the chat area or in the question and answer section. You can hit either one of those and it will allow you to be able to ask a question, type that in. If I'm not able to see that as we go around through this, you can, I will definitely answer the questions at the end. So I want to make sure that you feel like you can get those questions answered for you as we go through here. But today, to start, we're going to really kind of focus on these two different products, electrical wiring and measurement math. And one of the questions that a lot of times is, okay, why do you go into these and how did these products come about? One of the things that's important to us here at RealityWorks is really creating tools that help not only engage students, but give them the skills that they need. Just this week, I found kind of a funny little saying or quote on social media. And it talks about how in the 1980s, A&W tried to compete with the quarter pounder from McDonald's. But unfortunately, it didn't work out because people didn't understand that a third pound beef is actually more than a quarter pound beef. And that's kind of just a little fun little moment here that kind of talking about. But the reality is we see it, we've heard you say it. These are the types of things that you're asking for and need help with because there is just a disconnect sometimes, or it's a little bit harder for students to understand these topics. And so how can we supplement, give them, wrap around our students to give them that extra help that they need and be able to train, as well as working with them to kind of understand and not only just going through it once, but a lot of times there is need for a review, going back and doing it again. Sometimes students think they understand once you get them into the lab, into the workshop, into doing and actually getting that hands-on learning, all of a sudden you realize, oh, they didn't quite get it and we need to help a little bit more. So what we really focus on here is kind of in our learning methodology is to go through and really kind of focus on practical teaching, getting that hands-on learning, allowing students to understand that. So in this case, research and studies have shown that using that visual representation, being able to touch and feel that tactile information is very important. As much as you can read it, actually doing it is going to sink in and give them better. And we all know that, but we just want to enforce that and help that. At the same time, there's a lot of things that we forget, but we can also process and have that memory a lot better when we're able to actually do and visualize it, understand it through the process of doing. So that's kind of our methodology, is getting that hands-on learning, have students understanding through that process. And so we're going to walk through two different products today and hopefully help you think about new ways that maybe you could implement these into your classroom or bring this to your students, both in a remote learning setting or in a on-site in-classroom experience. Really, how can you help your students understand these two different skill sets? So to start with, I'm going to work on talk about our electrical wiring components here. So first off, we have our electric wiring kit, and it's pretty much what you see here. The only thing, I don't have all the wires and the electrical tape and the switches, but it comes with all those pieces. And what it also comes with is a setup here where it has the the wall panel all ready for you. It has the boxes ready to go, and then you actually can program and put these in and start to put in these different electrical wiring scenarios that we include with this product. Now, at the same time, there's a few different things here with this product. And as we kind of go through here, we're going to talk through different features of this. But first off, let's talk about the curriculum that comes along with it. So the hands-on work that's here is something that your students can actually do. But along with it, we have a very nice curriculum that works with this product as well. So our first lesson in the curriculum is about electrical safety. This product that we have here, it is all powered by battery. And so it is DC powered. There's no way you can get electrical shock from this product. So because of that, we don't want that false sense of security. We have a lesson, we talk heavily about electrical safety. It includes things about protecting yourself. It has PowerPoint slides, it has worksheets, it has activities, and then also protecting others. We then move into our second lesson, and that's really getting the theory and the understanding of how circuits work, how electricity works, what's going on, and kind of that understanding of electrical wiring before you actually do it. And then finally, our third lesson is basic wiring. It starts to go into actually the process of wiring. So we walk your students through 3 different lessons talking about, again, safety, and then the theory of electricity and how it works and energy, and then gets into the idea of how does it actually work. Once you've done that, then we jump in to the product itself. All right. Now, with the product here, one of the great pieces, and I stated this already, but all of this is powered by this little box right here. This here is our assessment reveal. It is battery powered. You plug it into the wall. And in this case, we have our breakout box here. Our breakout box is actually on the wall panel itself. We also send you another breakout box because we know a lot of educators in the shop, you might be using or building a shelter or some sort of another structure, and you want to test the real thing out there with it. So we give another one where you can hook up your wiring, electrical wiring wires to this and check, did you wire it correctly? So we do give a second one in that case. Now, with all of this here, the whole purpose again is to get students to do the wiring and see if they did it correctly. So in this case here, we have the breakout box, which would be considered your circuit breaker box in the real world, and you hook it up to that circuit breaker. All right. Now, once you hook that up, we have exercises that are going to ask you to do different types of wiring. With those exercises, after you get done, we actually have you then hook in the assessment kit. And what you see here now is you can hook in the light socket. And when I have the light socket here and I turn it on, all I need to do is plug into that light socket, and then it powers it up. And now I can then turn it on and be able to see what the issue is. And then you see from our visual here, you can look at it, and the lights, the little LED lights, they turn on. And so you can see if there's 2 green lights, it's correct. If there is a terminal open, none of them would show up. Okay. If a hot terminal is open, then that shows up. And so you can go through here, and what you see is, in this case, we wired it incorrectly. The hot terminal is open. It's showing that one yellow light. And so that then tells the student, helps the student, oh, I wired it incorrectly. I can then take it apart and I can rewire it. That's how easy and simple it is for them to test and understand, did they do it correctly? At the same time, we also have the outlet tester. And so I can take the outlet tester here and I can do the same thing. I can wire it to an outlet. I can plug it in. I can turn it on, and then I can see, did I wire that correctly? And as you can see from the presentation slide here, 3 green lights, LED lights, shows that yes, I did that correctly, and so I wired it correctly. If I didn't, I can go back and fix it. If I did, then I can have confidence that I did it correctly and I can move on to the next exercise. This allows your students to do some self-pacing. It allows them to not need to ask the teacher every single time they need help. And it also allows them to have confidence in what they're doing. The great feature about this too is the other side, all those other light combinations that could happen from the outlet tester, the socket tester here, what those show is all the things that could go wrong. And so this helps that student, if they did something wrong, to be able to go back to their exercise, see where maybe they made their mistake, go in, check it, and then go back. A lot of self-assessment, self-challenge, and self-actualization in that case. So let's talk about these electrical wiring exercises that I've been kind of saying. So these are electrical wiring exercises that come with the product. They're printable, reusable, and they show the steps. And so just to give you a few pictures here, right, it walks students through the different components that they will be using, giving them terminology, giving them understanding of what they're going to be doing, walking through wiring and what wires are what, so then they have a good understanding of what's going on. And then it starts to bring them into the different exercises. And so this is all part of the student exercises where they can get these exercises. They can then look at it and they can start wiring their, in this case, a single outlet and see, did I do it correctly? All right. Once they've got done wiring it, they can then hook up their assessment and be able to check if they did it correctly. If they've done it correctly, they then move on to the next exercise and the next exercise. In this case here, you see exercise 3, and exercise 3 has a little bit more difficulty level, a little bit more going on. So in this case, they can start walking through and say, oh, all right, I've kind of graduated from exercise 1 and exercise 3. There's more things that I have to focus on. I have to do a light switch, and then I have to make sure that it is controlling one light. All right, working through that. Moving farther, this is exercise 8 here. All of a sudden, ooh, a light switch, a plug-in, and a light altogether. So in those kind of situations, it builds upon itself. One exercise builds upon another, builds upon another, all the way until, as you can see, they keep on building and getting a little bit more difficult, a little bit more places of error that could come in. All why every single one going back and then being able to test and see, did I do it correctly? Now, with these, as it gets more and more difficult, we also include some opportunities for students to be able to, again, do even harder ones, and that's the enhanced exercises at the bottom. So as this slide shows you, there are 12 different exercises that would be your residential, your pretty wide, basic understanding. And then we have 4 that kind of really challenge your students. Go in a little bit harder, or a little bit more, have to use a lot more of the wire and all the different pieces together. Now, the great part of this is that we give you the components. We give you all the different components, the wire, everything that you need. So your students can wire it up, they can unwire it, and you can use it again. It is a reusable tool, allowing students to go through all these different exercises and be able to understand those different exercises. All in the kind of understanding that this is a safe tool to use. It is battery powered. So students can go through and not have any worry of it shocking them or any type of blowing out the panel or anything of that nature, because it is all battery powered, allowing them to really understand that before they go any farther. Next thing here then is we will be going into is, again, walking through the measurement math kit. So this is the electrical wiring kit, and it kind of goes through and shows all the different pieces. Now I'm going to share with you our electrical wiring kit, and our measurement math kit. So electrical wiring kit, measurement math kit. All right, measurement math kit's a little different. It comes in, you get 5 boxes with the measurement tools in them. And so want to walk through what that all entails, all the different tools that are included in this world of measurement math. So what you get is 5 sets of measurement tools You get an online curriculum option and a classroom curriculum option. You also get student workbooks, a pack of 20, and then also an instructor guide that comes with and helps the teacher walk through this. So kind of to give you just a little bit of an understanding again, is you get these 5 sets of manipulatives. And so I have the different manipulatives that we have in the pack. You get 5 sets of these for your students to be able to use and interact with. You also get the workbook, and there's packs of 20 of the workbooks for the students to be able to put their answers in and go through and do the measurements with. And then we have 2 different options for you. There is a classroom curriculum allowing you to be in the classroom and teach, kind of that traditional classroom where you have PowerPoint slides, you have activities, you have worksheets, you have group activities, getting those students to understand. We also have an online curriculum. So if you would rather have your students do an online portion, you can bring them into a computer lab. You can have them on their computers, on their Chromebooks, whatever they have, and they can actually walk through the online curriculum. Now, if you want to use both, more power to you. You can use the classroom curriculum and the online. They walk hand in hand, and they're very similar, but there's always that ability to have students kind of to bring them and do review and let them go through both sets. But it allows you as a teacher to give that opportunity. And what we have heard from you educators is that you wanted the ability to not only teach in class, but you're going to have some students who maybe struggle or don't get it the first time, and you want them to go back. Well, that can be online. It can be self-paced. You can do it as they need, or if they have a struggle in one area, they can go ahead and do that as well. So this is one of those options for you that we're trying to give you different modes to then get your teaching and your students to learn. So you can do both that classroom and the online curriculum. Now, to give you a little version of what this is and see this, is we have 7 lessons that walk through and focus on kind of that basic measurement of math. Again, why did this come out? This is because of you as educators have said that a lot of times it has been difficult as your students come into the lab, come into the workshop, just come into their first maybe CTE class, and they don't have those math skills. But you need to get them all to kind of that standardized base to have that understanding before you can get and kind of move on to the next project, the next thing that you want them to do. Or there's also those times where you start a lot of classes and everyone kind of gets their review, but halfway through the semester, students forget. You see them kind of fumbling, or they aren't doing it correctly. And so you need to pull them back in and remind them what to do. This is that great tool for them to use. So we go through metric and standard readings. We focus on how to read a ruler or a tape measure, how to read and use a caliper. Then we break it down a little bit more into how do you do decimals, how do you do conversions, and then we bring it back into doing a lot of different measurements using a ruler or a tape measure and measurement using a caliper. So in the classroom version of this, there are PowerPoint slides, there are worksheets, there are activities that you can use. And then once you do those activities, every single lesson corresponds with a lesson in the workbook, allowing you to teach a lesson, have students go and do the lesson in the workbook. Now, with that then, as they do those lessons, they need to use the manipulatives. They need to measure. They need to do different type of activities with these manipulatives, giving them that hands-on training as they go, allowing them to not only hear, but also do in that sense. The other one is our online curriculum. Our online curriculum has videos, it has knowledge checks, it has online activities that your students can use as well. So I am going to share my screen here and share with you a little view into that world that we have. So as I get it here, all right, sharing you with our online focus here, what I'm kind of focusing on right now is this is our metric and standard reading. And so students can actually walk through, scroll through, and kind of interact with the online curriculum. So it talks about what countries use standard over metric, not very many. It gives videos allowing your students to learn about different pieces of the puzzle, going through and learning what the lesson is about in fun, interactive type online videos. And then it starts asking them questions, getting them to understand basic knowledge and foundational information before they move on. So in this case here, it allows you to interact with the activities here and go through. It gives different questions, okay? And you can figure out if you are doing it or if it's right or not. And so, in this case here, I can put in a right or wrong answer. In this case, it tells me that was incorrect. So I can try again. I can go back and interact with it. So it allows your students to be able to interact and learn while they're learning all these different pieces. And then it goes into different types of practice where you have your students actually having to do some math with it, being able to then move and interact and see, am I putting these in the right place and the right information as I go. So they have math interaction to be able to introduce and interact with. So one of the things that we really are focusing on here is trying to get students to be able to not only just learn measurement math, but also to interact with it. How is this going to be used? What am I doing with this? So, and that's a big thing as we go through this, is not only just, okay, yep, I think I understand it, but now let's put it to practice. What does that mean? What does that look like? So we have, again, these different lessons allowing students to walk through it. We have it in the classroom where there's PowerPoint slides. It gives that robustness to our lessons. And then we also have the student workbooks. And so want to share a little bit with our student workbooks. Again, these are great options for your students to be able to read through, learn. There's instructions, there's reminders of all the different things that you do. It is in color, it is vibrant, it allows your students to become engaged with the learning. And then there are different assessment pieces. So I'm going to just show you two of them here. So in the workbook, as you go through, again, how this is set up is you would have them walk through either online curriculum, you would do the classroom curriculum for the day or for the hour, the time that you have. And then you would say, okay, now that we've learned that, we want you to start practicing and understanding. In their workbooks, then they would go to their workbooks, and maybe they're partnered up, maybe they're doing it on their own. In this case, every lesson has questions based on what was just talked about. And so the first lesson here on lesson 3 is reading measurements on a standard vernier caliper. So they would actually go to that page, be able to look at it, and in this case, it would tell them which object to use. And so they would get their object out. They would have their object, and on these objects, as you can see from the pictures, is that there are different letters all over these objects. And what it's going to ask is it's going to ask to measure from one place to another, making sure that they're doing it and walking them through if they're doing it correctly. So on this caliper here, I can find what I need to do. And so I look for H, and then I look for O. All right, and I'm the wrong one, sorry. H and O. And so in this case here, I can go H to O there, here we go. Get my measurement. All right. Be able to have my measurement, be able to go and read my measurement, find out where it is located, and then put my information on the paper and be able to do the workbook questions there. Now, in this case here, we also have an answer key for the instructors. So then everything that your students do, you then walk through, you can help them, you can give them that different help that they need as they go through. So then as it's kind of working through, you can go through it. All of this is broken down all the way to 1/16 of an inch, allowing you that kind of ability to get all the way down to 1/16. All right. From there, you can go in deeper. You can work to more accuracy or more tolerances, but in that sense, that's where we go into. Now, that is the caliper. The other one we have is converting metric units. So on the metric unit side, I can go to that page here. and I have another measurement tool here that I need to use. I can go in there and there is a lot of different questions for them and your students to be able to go in and be able to do different measurements. The great piece about this is only the beginning for you and your students. With these pieces, there are hundreds and hundreds of different measurements that your students can use. And so this allows you to not only use the workbook, but to use this tool on your own, to go in deeper, to go and see different types of questions and ask different types of questions to your students, and allow them to go even deeper into both a caliper and to a tape measure ruler, allowing them to really get that understanding. So these are our question or our time here, where you kind of can see these two different types of skills, both electrical wiring and also measurement math, but are very important skills for your students to learn and to remember and to be able to get that repetition and that ability to do and kind of get that understanding of why is this important and how do I make sure I understand and learn it. All right, so there are a few questions here. One of the questions here is this electronic? And so the online curriculum is electronic. The workbook is not. That is a workbook that you can have, that your students can then use. They can write in it, they can get it. And we do have more workbooks. They come in packs of 20, so you can get more workbooks for what your needs are in that world. If there's any other questions, feel free to add them to our chat section, and I will make sure that I can answer that for you. What I also want to kind of show you a little bit here is where you can go and see all this information. So I will bring that up as well for you. All right. There we go. All right. Let me share here so you can see exactly where to go. So in this case here, you go to our website, realityworks.com, and in the product section, you come into our trade skills. We have two different areas and they're right next to each other, electrical and measurement math. I'm going to do electrical first, then we'll go into measurement math. So you can go into electrical and it gives you all the things that you can need and purchase with this. So it gives you the whole electrical wiring kit, which comes with a wall panel, with the assessment kit, and all the curriculum that you need. You can also buy individual wall panels that you might want. So you can go from one wall panel to two wall panels and more wall panels and still use it with one electrical assessment remote. So in this case here, for $6.99, you get the whole package here for the electrical wiring. Now, if you want extra wall panels, you can also get that as well, and they're $3.29 per wall panel. All right. I'm going to go back here and I will show you in our product page. If you go to our product here, you go down to measurement math under trade skills. That brings you into kind of those two different features. Again, we have the whole measurement kit, which gives you 20 workbooks, but you can also go in and buy additional workbooks. So in this case here, our measurement math training kit is $7.99. It comes with 5 sets of our tools. It also includes all the curriculum, both online and the classroom one. You can also then get extra workbooks as you need, and that is for an extra 20 pack. That's $2.99 for that workbook pack there. So breaking it down to a little bit for you to be able to get extra workbooks and still only use the packs that you need here. Oh, good thought. Someone asked if I can drop this in the chat. I'd be happy to do that for you as well. Any other questions that you might have that I can answer? Feel free to throw that out there for us, and we'd be happy to answer. But great questions on that. Again, this all comes to you and allows you to be able to use that. And it is, again, online. It gives you the curriculum. It gives you those pieces there. So in that, put that online there for you. If you have other questions, feel free to ask. We'd be happy to help, happy to answer those for you. And thank you for your time today as we've gone through this. Again, one of the things that we really want to encourage as we continue to focus on career and technical education is how do we get our students doing that hands-on learning? And we believe these are our ways that can really help students. Now, last thing before we go, we do have a free resource that we will be sharing with you in an email after this is done. This is a part kind of for thank you for being part of this webinar. It is a printable poster or infographic allowing you to get some of that how to measure basics. And so this is something that we will send to you after we are done, and along with the recording, along with some other features that we have and information, but look for this in your emails as this will be coming afterwards. So with that, thank you for your time, and I hope you have a great day and good luck. Best of wishes for the rest of the school year.